Ever ponder the meaning of living wisely? What if we said the answers lie in an ancient philosophy? Welcome, dear listeners, to a realm where wisdom is not just about intelligence or knowledge but a way of life. A life that, when lived wisely, brings contentment, tranquility, and a sense of purpose. Imagine a philosophy that encourages us to focus on what is within our control and let go of what is not. A philosophy that champions acceptance, virtue, mindfulness, and resilience. This is not a New Age self-help trend, but a time-tested 2,000-year-old philosophy called Stoicism. Stoicism, my friends, is an art, the art of living wisely, a guide to living a good life, a life that is not swayed by external events but controlled by our own actions, responses, and attitudes. Strap in as we embark on a journey to unravel the art of living wisely through the lens of Stoicism. Stoicism, a philosophy born in the heart of ancient Greece, has a lot to teach us about living wisely. Picture a time when philosophers strolled through marble porticos, engaging in deep conversations about life's most profound questions. Stoicism emerged from this vibrant intellectual scene, a philosophy of personal ethics and virtue, putting emphasis on the acceptance of life as it comes and finding peace within oneself. Stoicism teaches us that our reactions, not our circumstances, define our reality. It champions acceptance, virtue, mindfulness, and resilience, and in doing so, it provides a guidebook for navigating life's ups and downs with grace and wisdom. Fast forward to our modern world, where chaos and uncertainty often reign, the principles of Stoicism remain as relevant as ever. They offer a steady hand in the storm, a soothing voice amid the noise. So, how can Stoicism guide us to live wisely? Let's dive deeper. Stoicism's first principle of living wisely is acceptance, understanding that not all things are within our control. In the broad canvas of life, we often find ourselves grappling with situations that are beyond our control. We may lose a loved one, face an unexpected job loss, or confront a health crisis. These events can shake us to our core, and in response, we may feel a range of emotions from anger to sadness, from frustration to despair. But the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers us a different perspective, a different way to navigate life's choppy waters. The Stoics understood that life is fraught with change and uncertainty. They recognized that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond to it. This is where the principle of acceptance comes into play. Acceptance, in Stoic terms, is not about passive resignation or indifference. It's not about giving up or throwing in the towel. Rather, it's about acknowledging reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. Acceptance is the understanding that there are things we cannot change, events we cannot prevent, and circumstances we cannot alter. It's about focusing our energy not on resisting what is, but on responding to it in a way that aligns with our values and contributes to our overall well-being. This doesn't mean that we should accept injustice or wrongdoing. On the contrary, Stoicism encourages us to stand up for what is right and to strive for justice. But it also reminds us that there will always be elements outside our control, and it is in the acceptance of this fact where we find the strength to persevere. By embracing acceptance, we liberate ourselves from the futile struggle against reality. We free ourselves from the burden of expectation and the stress of resistance. We learn to navigate life with a sense of calm and serenity, making thoughtful decisions based on what we can control, rather than reacting impulsively to what we can't. Acceptance, then, is our first step towards living wisely. But what's next? The second principle in Stoicism's guide to living wisely is virtue, the highest form of good. Let's dive deep into the realm of virtue. In the grand scheme of Stoicism, virtue is not just an accessory to a good life, it is the essence of a good life. It's not about being perfect, but about striving for moral excellence, a quest that brings a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Living virtuously is akin to being in harmony with nature, not just the nature that surrounds us, but also our own nature. And what is our nature, you may ask? It's our capacity for reason, our ability to distinguish right from wrong, and our potential to act upon this knowledge. Now let's consider a few examples of virtue. Courage, for instance, is not just about being fearless in the face of danger. It's about standing up for what's right, even when it's easier to look the other way. It's about persisting, even when the odds are stacked against us. It's about embracing change and uncertainty instead of running away from them. Then there's justice, another cardinal virtue in Stoicism. Justice is about treating others with fairness and respect, acknowledging their inherent dignity. It's about standing up against injustice, not just for ourselves but for others too. It's about being a voice for the voiceless and a defender of the defenseless. Humility, too, holds a special place in the pantheon of Stoic virtues. It's about recognizing our limitations, admitting our mistakes, and being open to learning from others. It's about putting our ego aside and acknowledging that we don't have all the answers. Each virtue, you see, is a stepping stone towards wisdom. They are the tools that help us navigate the stormy seas of life with grace and dignity. They are the compass that guides us towards a life of purpose and meaning. Living virtuously, we find, paves the way for wisdom, but there's still more to discover. Our third principle is mindfulness, the practice of living in the present moment. If we were to distill mindfulness into a single phrase, it would be this: be here, now. It's the act of paying attention, on purpose, to the present moment, without judgment. It's about experiencing the world directly, not through the lens of our thoughts, judgments, or preconceived notions. Mindfulness is a core tenet of Stoic philosophy. Stoics understood the power of the present moment. To them, the past was unchangeable and the future was uncertain. The only sure thing was the present. By focusing on it, they could maintain control, make better decisions, and live more fulfilling lives. Mindfulness also helps us to handle our emotions more effectively. When we're mindful, we're aware of our feelings, but we don't let them dictate our actions. Instead, we observe them, understand them, and then choose how to respond. This is the essence of emotional intelligence, and it's a key component of living wisely. So how can we incorporate mindfulness into our daily lives? It's simpler than you might think. First, make a habit of checking in with yourself throughout the day. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What am I thinking? This helps to ground you in the present moment. Second, practice mindful activities. This could be anything that requires your full attention. It might be cooking a meal, going for a walk, or even cleaning your house. The key is to be fully engaged in what you're doing, not lost in thought or distracted by other things. Lastly, try to approach each moment with curiosity and openness. Instead of judging or resisting what's happening, just observe it. See it for what it is, not what you wish it was or fear it might be. Incorporating mindfulness into your life may take time and practice. But remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Each moment of mindfulness is a step towards a wiser, more fulfilled life. With mindfulness, we learn to savor the present, but there's one final principle to explore. The final principle of Stoicism's guide to living wisely is resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity. Resilience is our inner strength. It's the fortitude that allows us to weather the storms of life, the grit that helps us keep going when the going gets tough. The Stoics saw resilience as a fundamental skill in our arsenal of wisdom. They knew that life is full of unexpected turns and that resilience is what enables us to navigate these twists and turns wisely. So how can we build resilience? It begins with an understanding of the nature of life. Life is change. It's unpredictable. It's full of surprises, both pleasant and unpleasant. The Stoics taught that instead of resisting these changes, we should embrace them. We should see them as opportunities for growth, for learning, for becoming stronger. Next, we need to cultivate a mindset of acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean passivity. It means acknowledging reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. It's about understanding that there are things we can control and things we can't. The Stoics believed that by focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, we can build resilience. Finally, resilience requires practice. It's like a muscle. The more we exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Every challenge we face, every obstacle we overcome, every setback we bounce back from, strengthens our resilience. And the stronger our resilience, the wiser we become. The Stoics urged us to see life as a training ground, a place to practice resilience. They urged us to face adversity with courage, to rise to the occasion, to learn from our experiences, and to grow stronger with each passing day. With resilience, we complete our journey through Stoicism's guide to living wisely. Remember, it's a journey, not a destination.